Hopefully, some of the angry leftists will visit, but there had to be at least 30 of them. But
This is just between us.
The number one podcast in the
This is just between us with your host, Cameron.
All right, how's it going, everybody? My name is Chris, and this is Just Between Us. Joining me tonight is my co-host, Alan, at First Alan2 on X. How are we doing tonight?
I'm pretty good, bud. How you doing?
Pretty good. Could you bring up the energy just a little tiny bit?
Oh, I'm on an 11 right now.
That's an 11? Is like a 15 possible? There we go. I got a smile. That'll work. That's at least a little bit closer. So in the last 24 hours, we had the WEF, of course, happening. A lot of stuff coming out of there. We listened to a clip on the last show, which was, day before yesterday, right? We listened to a clip from, do you remember who that was? I always forget his name. The Commerce Secretary that we listened to from Davos. Yeah, I don't know either.
I forgot too.
I forget his name, but it was great. And the way that he was able to put everybody in that room, I don't know if he was speaking to his counterparts from the EU or who exactly was all in the room with him. It was all, unrecognized faces from European countries. But the way he was able to put them on their back feet was just very nice to see, where they all basically had to not admit that he was right, but they had to cave to his worldview. That's I think the right way to put it. And so it was nice to see because, of course, America's been taken advantage of by Europe for a very long time now.
We say taken advantage of, but what we mean is we gave everything to them and then asked for nothing in return. And then Trump finally asked for something in return. And that's what they're upset about. They're like, you've been giving us stuff. And now we got to do something about it. Like, we got to take care of ourselves.
I heard someone describe it as your, the teenage daughter that you give a credit card to, and then eventually you have to take the credit card away. And that's pretty much exactly what it is, right? That we're like, you got to take care of your responsibilities now. And they're like, this is the end of the world. What do you mean we have to handle our own security and actually be an ally to the United States like they have been to us? It's an absolutely incredible thing that it's such a big deal. You would think it would be no problem at all, right? But no. So, in the last 24 hours, we have now had Donald Trump speak at the WEF, and it's only gotten better. And if you saw the headline tonight before watching the show, you're probably wondering what that's all about. We'll find out a little bit later in the show, but it turns out that the kid that we thought was the infamous Big BALLZ working for Doge, I don't think that's actually him. I think the real Big BALLZ has unveiled himself at the WEF. So we'll find that out later in the show. Little teaser for later. Alan apparently is getting his first food in weeks. We had a couple new subscribers, so I said he could eat a little bit. He couldn't wait. Let's take a look at our first video tonight. This is a police incident out of San Jose. And it is from very far away, but it is technically a shooting, so you know, whether or not that's graphic, you can decide for yourself. You don't see anything specific. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this video here. Let me get it set up for you, Alan, and then I will get it set up for the viewers. There we go. And so this was being posted to X. There you can see the guy running. You can hear shots being fired. That's him down on the ground over here. And you'll notice something. The video's going to play over again here. Well, I guess in a minute. But when the video plays over again, notice the car that the criminal gets out of. So I'm going to go ahead and skip back to it because there's nothing else in the rest of this video other than more cops showing up. So this is the criminal right here. He was attempting to steal a police car. And for whatever reason, that didn't work out for him. This is how it was shared online. And,
oh, did he have a gun on him when he was running away?
Well, and so that's the thing. When you, just like everything else that the left says, when you actually look into the details, they turn out a little bit different. The first thing we notice just from watching the video is he's fleeing from a cop car. You can actually see him get in and get out because he was attempting to steal it because the car that he had already stolen, he had wrecked. And so he was attempting to steal a new cop car.
What was the cop doing? Where was the cop?
He was, I believe it was the cop that was, here, I'll pull it back up real quick. I believe the cop whose cop car it was this guy right here. So I think he was, you know, holding him at gunpoint, basically. As he got out and fled, you know, trying to find a new car, basically.
So
it turns out
circumvented the cop somehow. He got around the cop and then got to the... That seems like a fuck up on the cop's part, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it very well could be. We'd have to see more of the video to know. That's entirely a guess on my part, just because that's an empty cop car. That's the only cop I see standing outside of his car at that moment. So we'd have to see some more video to know. But he was armed, and those first shots that we hear were him.
He was armed. Okay, yeah.
Those first shots that we hear were him shooting at the police as he was running away. And then they had to take him out. The guy, if you're going to shoot at cops, not only is that just bad for cops, but that's bad for society, because if you're going to attack a cop, which carries much weightier criminal penalties than just a regular person, if you're going to shoot at a cop, then you're going to hurt anybody. Yep. Yeah, and we talked about this the other day when we saw the criminal steal the cop car from the female cop in Seattle. When you steal a cop car, you're also stealing guns, as well as, you know, numerous other equipment that you can use to harm people. And they have to take that into consideration. Like, it's no different than you running into a gun store.
That's not one of those shoot first things for me.
I'm not saying it's a shoot first necessarily. I'm saying it's a factor.
Sure, but like one factor would be like, so you don't know the person, like you have no description of them, so you don't know if they're like felon, or if they have a warrant out, or if they've committed a violent crime before, some random. All you know is it's a young man that jumped into a cop car, stole it, and that's the description you're getting over the radio.
Right.
You call it. Hey, you ask dispatch if the guy, hey, are there any accessible firearms? Do you have your firearms locked up? Like, do you have your shotgun in the safety lock in the cage, against the cage? And the other cop comes back, man, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know if I got one of my my ham sandwiches in there. You know, ham sandwiches, a small gun that you throw down if you shoot a suspect and they don't have a gun. It's a clean, it's a clean gun that you throw down.
I've never heard that term
It's a
before.
clean shooter. Yeah, they call it a ham sandwich. And like, I don't know if I have any weapons available in there. And the other cop goes, check, and then you pull up. And if this person comes out of the car, hands up, like, oh no, I've really got myself into an alley, you don't shoot, know. But if they come out, like they stop the car and you see them rummaging, you can't let them come out of that car and shoot you. And the cop's job, according to the law, would be they have to make the first move. So they have to come out of the car and you have to see a weapon,
So what if you've already witnessed the criminal commit a felony, which is eluding, right? They've fled, such as in this scenario. Now they're getting into a cop car. Hold on. Let's assume that he was successful at stealing this cop car. So he is now driving away in a cop car that has a weapon in it. Can you shoot then? Because the vehicle is a weapon itself. He's already proven he's willing to commit felonies and elude police. And he's now stolen a cop car. See, I disagree. I think you should, absolutely. Because I think that not doing that is what has gotten us to this lawless place where people are willing to steal cop cars.
What if he's just retarded and he's excited and he thinks, oh, cop car, and he just wants to think, so he gets into the cop car's running hot, the door's open for him, he jumps in and he just has no impulse control because he's a retarded guy.
That sucks.
You shoot him. Yeah.
That sucks, but we can't.
Yeah, but we don't go, it's the old, I'd rather have 100 innocent men or 100 guilty men go free than one innocent man serve a day in prison.
We're not talking about after the fact. We're talking about in the moment, and he could easily kill somebody with that car and or gun. He's already committed felonies at this point. I don't think you allow him to continue.
I think you treat it like a pit stop. I mean, like any other car stop. You would try to stop him by running, doing a pit maneuver.
And what if he kills somebody?
Like anybody else, please.
What if he kills somebody in a car wreck in the course of all of this? Right, he gets away with the cop.
So that argument, anybody that takes off on the cops should be shot.
I'm not saying that anybody that takes off on the cops by itself should be shot necessarily, but I do think that any amount of force to stop that car that is necessary should be used as quickly as possible. I'm not a fan of chasing them around for hours until, something happens. I'm not a fan of just letting them go. You stop that vehicle by whatever means are necessary as quick as possible because they're putting everybody else in danger.
Right. So they have some cities that are like, hey, man, if the guy's driving recklessly, you back off to keep him from hurting somebody.
Yeah.
The other thing is if they get on the freeway, they're going 80 miles an hour, you pit maneuver them, you're probably going to kill them,
Yeah.
And so it's all about, at this point, they're a threat to the public, right? And it's all about reducing that threat because they're flaying the cop. But we do have protections. First of all, we don't know why they're doing it. They could, it could just be a mentally retarded person. Or let's say it's like a kid who tried mushrooms for the first time. He doesn't know. Or there's other people that are perfectly fine, upstanding people that when they interact with a cop, they literally just freak out. It's like a mental, because the cop has a gun, and they have this, and they've seen it. Huh?
All of that could be, but there's no way to determine that in the moment, so I don't think it's relevant. I'm not suggesting shooting first, though. I'm suggesting shooting after several felonies have been committed and they're still putting people in danger.
Yeah, but by that, I'm just saying that shooting him, you would have to take into account anytime someone takes off on a cop that they're going to shoot him.
I think that a criminal should be. Open up. I think that a criminal should be scared that if they take off on a cop, there's a likelihood they'll be shot. Sure. But this is after.
But that's not factoring in.
This is after he's already fled in a car, crashed that car. Now he's fled on foot. Now he's stealing another cop car. That's when I'm saying you should shoot.
We're expanding this beyond when when you introduced, the scenario, we expanded it beyond just that particular scenario. You introduced a hypothetical.
That was the scenario I introduced. That's what I
No,
was
you
trying to
said
clarify.
what if? Oh, I see.
I was saying, had he gotten in that car, yeah, he
gets
commits
into
a felony.
The cop car and takes off.
So
I still think you treat it. You follow the law book and you treat it like, unless he's shooting at you. That's the other.
Right,
that's the other fact.
And in this case, he was.
Or he's driving the car directly at you.
Right. But, and that's fine. I mean, we disagree on this, and that's fine. And I get where you're coming from. I think that part of the reason I have, let's say, soured on this a bit is because I've watched this lawlessness take place and the cops not be allowed to do anything, to where, the idea of not chasing people because it's supposedly safer for the community if you just let them go, because then they won't flee at high speed, right? But that's not true. They still do anyway. They don't care.
No, we wouldn't say, well, I wouldn't agree that we need to not pursue. I would do what they do.
Right.
Out here in North Carolina, a lot of cities have had high success rates of this because they were having these, these cowboy cops take off on these guys and try to pit maneuver them in a tiny little country road or in a city street.
Dangerous
and
places,
stupid.
Right.
And so we saw a better thing where they don't not pursue. They do like a distance pursuit. So they're kind of, the guy can see him, but they're not trying to catch up to him. They're a good 100 yards or whatever behind them.
They try and keep the pressure off of him so he doesn't feel
and if it's in a city, they're trained to coordinate. So I'm taking he's going down I Street. I'm going to cut up on B Street here, and then I got this unit over here, and they just they cut off both side streets, and then they have a guy following here. So then if he takes a left and then tries to go somewhere, the guy on that other adjacent street can.
Sure.
It is better because typically you're trying to push the guy out of the city to get him on the highway, and then you can do a pit maneuver.
So I am in favor of that. As far as pursuit rules, I am in favor of that technique above all else, which is pursuing but keeping a distance and not keeping the pressure on. Because I agree, that incentivizes, because you get adrenaline going and all these things, right? So that kind of incentivizes bad actions on behalf of the police, not because they're bad people, just because adrenaline's going and you're not making the wisest decisions necessarily.
We just got a lot of cowboy cops,
The point, though, for me is that around here, they weren't allowed to pursue it all for about 2 years, and that just led to complete lawlessness. On top of that, they are allowed to pursue now, but the rules are so incredibly restricted. No cop will pretty much use their gun because they're so terrified of being, plastered on the news. And so criminals just do whatever they want around here, basically. And so I'm sick of it, watching that here in Washington. I understand not every state is Washington, right? They're not all as bad as Washington, California, New York. But I would much rather see some criminal that has already committed multiple felonies and is going to put people in danger again by stealing a new car, just fucking put him down, because he's already proven that he's willing to put other people in danger, and he's had multiple opportunities to give himself up peacefully and not be harmed. He's choosing
I see that
to
being
do
so
this.
easily abused by cops. I really do. Like, there's
the alternative is it's abused by criminals.
Police officers based on their certain antisocial characteristics, and some of them. That I know them, like, they're tickled pink when they get to shoot somebody, or they have a shootout, or they get to put hands on somebody. That's not a lot. That's not a lot of them, but that's a good percentage. And you're opening up the door for these guys. Like the reason that you can't shoot a fleeing suspect in the back, and I believe it was in Tennessee, there was like a 12-year-old kid who stole some stuff from a store, and it amounted to a felony, right?
Okay.
It was enough at the time to constitute to a felony.
So $500.
And he's running. He drops all the shit, and he goes to jump a fence. And as he's on top of the fence, the cop that was pursuing him couldn't reach him, so he just pulls his gun out, boom, blows the kid's back of his head open with a .357. and they're like, yeah, you can't shoot. And the guy got off, like nothing happened to him.
Yeah.
And you can't, that's why we have certain because there are idiots that'll do that. It was not, you wouldn't, if you put, like at that time, if you put 99 out of 100 cops, or even 1,000, 999 out of 1,000 cops in that situation, they wouldn't have taken that shot. But that one fucking asshole did,
in that specific scenario, obviously, I would agree. And I get what you're saying, that it gives an opportunity to some bad cops that are out there, but that the fact that we need to be better at selecting police officers and better at training them is separate from, I think, from the way that we expect good cops to handle, violent situations. And so when a bad cop does something bad like that, then they need to be fired for it, if not prosecuted. But I think prosecution has to be very selective, obviously.
Yeah, but it just, if they legally can take a shot on some guy for no freaking reason.
Well, it's not no reason.
Because they say, I perceived he was a danger to the public.
It's he's committed multiple felonies, and I perceived he's a danger to the public. So there is still, multiple steps to it. But yes, I believe in lowering the bar from where it is to a little bit less, to somebody that is willfully continuing to commit crimes despite knowing that they're not getting away from the situation. Because nobody in a police chase thinks they're getting away. Nobody ever gets away. They know that they're just committing as many crimes as they can before they get caught. A lot more people get away than you think. They actually, let me look that up real quick. I was staggered. It was staggering how many people. Go ahead and look it up. But not once you have half the department after you, right?
Not the ones on the news.
When
not
you
the
get
ones
away,
you see, when they get.
When you get away, it's when you take off on the first cop before he flips around and you get an opportunity, you get a gap. It's not once you got the helicopter and 50 cops chasing you. You know you're going to jail at some point there.
Yeah, how many people escaped?
Part of this, too,
it is very hard to collect data on this issue.
Yeah. I was just going to say. Okay. It's a hard question to answer because how do you draw the line on escape?
Yeah, some police say it's, police sources say it's only 20%, while independent sources say it's around 40%.
But does that include places that have no chase policies and stuff? And does that include people that were never lit up? They just fled before the cop had a chance to get behind them in the first place?
How many people, people escape police chases in places where they don't have a no chase policy?
I'm interested to see, but I have a feeling it's not going to have an answer for that.
Yeah, it really depends on the source. Like I say, it's such that because I remember like when I was in BALLZ, we had all these cops talking about just how many people get away. He said because you're calling them and they take off immediately, you got to turn around. And this is in the city, and they know every backcountry road. Right. Even like dirt roads, or they know where the trees are wide enough that they can slip into the woods and cut their lights off.
Yeah,
like it's just how well people know.
I would venture to guess too that when we're just talking about fleeing police, I would venture to guess that a lot are on foot that are successful too, because there's a lot more opportunity.
Car chases only.
Were you able to get an answer, or was it just?
I'm having to rephrase it a few ways.
Yeah.
You know how it is. You got to manipulate an answer at AI.
Yeah, well, and especially with something like this where you're trying to drill down on a specific, it's not going to be easy. But let's ask the audience.
In places where they don't have where they do have a no chase policy, it's 40% higher than in places that do. But that doesn't, I'm like trying to get, yeah, but it's still 40%. like the LAPD suspects that 82% of their car chases end in the driver getting away.
Ouch.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but if we're talking about LAPD specifically, you're talking about a department that it doesn't have a no chase policy, but it does have a lot of leftist policies.
It's a big damn city, and it's all broken up into precincts. And if you know anything, there's great books on this, but if you know anything about LA police culture, like the way they function, they're very territorial. So like you chase some guy into another area, then you got to call it in and ask permission to continue the chase, and it's bad etiquette. It's bad police etiquette. So people call in, and sometimes they say, "Oh, we'll send our guys on it," and they don't.
Right.
So there's a lot of factors involved in that.
Yeah, depending on where you are and stuff. Yeah, and I know LA Sheriff and LAPD, they don't get along too well, but
yeah, the sheriff are actually good dudes. No joke.
Well,
it's the LAPD that are
LA sheriffs in
really
general
messed
are,
up.
yes. LA Sheriff though, there's some rumors, let's say.
The LA sheriff's like pretty solid when it comes to not messing with people for no reason. Like they really just come. They get like you might think they get a bad rap because they're the one that serves the papers. They serve all court papers like every sheriff's office does. So those are the guys coming to your door like, hey, you have a notice to appear. Oh, hey, this is a fine and you didn't pay. Oh, hey, we're here to collect you on a bench warrant because you didn't show up to court.
Right. Anyway, let's ask the audience, what do you guys think on this? Do you think that police should be, generally speaking, more aggressive in stopping bad guys, or are you more happy with I guess the way things are now, so to speak? And I'm not talking about in Washington necessarily. I more just mean as a whole. What do you guys think? Like, comment, let us know. We'll read any comments that come in if and when they do. You want to move on to the next video, though?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Oh, I was like, what happened? There we go. All right.
Did you know the United Nations voted on whether food, literal food, should be recognized as a basic human right? And 2 nations voted against it, the United States and Israel. Everyone deserves to eat. Everyone deserves to live. And 183 countries agree with me. Let that sink in for a second. Out of nearly 200 nations on this planet, the 2 that said no are some of the richest, most resourced, most militarized countries in the freaking world. They say yes to funding bombs, yes to billion-dollar defense budgets, but no to making sure people can eat. This is not policy nuance. This is about whether we as a global community believe hunger should exist at all. So when politicians talk about freedom and values, ask them, what kind of freedom is it when children go to bed hungry while missiles get priority funding? Because if food isn't a right, what does that say about us? As a Christian nation, by the way, share this because silence feeds the system and people cannot eat silence.
People cannot eat silence, Alan.
I can. I get a big old meal of silence usually.
Do you?
I like silence. You got to put some salt on it for sure. But
I mean, as long as it tastes good, right?
yeah, I mean, it's definitely for sustenance, not for, any kind of appealing appetite. But
yeah, it's not a good snack.
Sometimes you gotta bite the bullet.
It's really not that filling either. Like, it will sustain you, sure, but it's not that filling. Not in the way a good steak is.
It depends how much noise. Like if you've been around a leftist, then you're gonna just eat the shit out of that silence. It's like a midnight snack. You just like going after some cake in the middle of the night.
Or you've been locked in your room by your co-hosts until we get more subscribers and haven't eaten in weeks. That silence probably sounds pretty darn good, huh?
Hey man, this is his show. I'm here to tap dance.
So, what do you think? Food a human right?
Is food a human right? If it is, that would be a very new concept
Very new.
because food is an absolute necessity, and I guess in America we could call it a human right because that would definitely fall under life, right? So there's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That would fall into the life section.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose it would. It's also important to note too. So the UN is not dominated by America, like people
Mhm.
in the West seem to think it is. We turned over the UN to the rest of the world, and it is dominated by China and Russia. They control the UN. They control what happens in the UN. The whole point of this vote goes a lot deeper than, voting on food as a human right. That's not what was going on here. This was a bullying move by China and Russia against the US, and these idiot leftists fall for it. This is exactly why they did it, right? On a more basic level, we don't even need to look that deep into it because food literally cannot be a human right because of one simple fact. The same reason healthcare is not a human right, the same reason that anything else that falls under these categories, I could name a million things, but I'm not going to. It requires labor. Food does not just appear ready to eat on a plate. It has to be grown, it has to be planted, fertilized, watered, grown, harvested, prepared, cooked, and then put on a plate. All of that requires labor. The only way to guarantee that is literally to enslave the people that make it. That's the only option. Therefore, it cannot be a human right. Rights are not things that it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what a right is. Rights are not things that require other people's labor because that requires force.
Right, and that's what so interesting. We kind of live with this, like we'll say something like that, right, and then we live with this cognitive dissonance when it comes to taxes.
So, yes and no. As far as the way things stand now with taxes, yes. But taxes in general, and so like I agree that the income tax, for example, it's probably not. I mean, it's constitutional only because they added it as a constitutional amendment. Absent that, I don't think it would be constitutional in the United States.
Yeah.
But taxes are something that we agree to, which is why they are okay. Ostensibly. Again, where we are today is different from what it's supposed to be.
But see, that's where the law comes in. Like we agree to it, right? And then what if they pass a law that our guys, the people that we vote in, our representatives, pass a law on our behalf saying that you're mandated to give, $300 a week to the hungry.
Well, that's kind of what it is through taxes. But the thing is, taxes are still not forced labor because you're not forced to pay taxes if you have no income. You're only required to pay taxes if you actually make an income.
I think one thing that the communists miss a lot is it was illegal to not have a job in the Soviet Union, and I think in China it still is illegal to not have a job.
It would make sense. I'm not sure. You'd have to look that up. But it would make sense because that's the only way it works. That's why communism doesn't work because unless you force people to work, everybody wants to be a painter or an artist. They don't want to be a miner. Meaning somebody that goes into the mines, not a young adult.
Well, that was the communist dream. He thought if everybody worked and paid into a thing that we'd all only have to work 3 to 4 hours a day, and then we would spend the rest of our time just creating art. That was more of like what Engels added. That was the dream of what, because if you look, it's very vague on what communist utopia looks like.
Of course.
He
Yeah.
doesn't give a lot of descriptions, and he said the reason he did that was intentional because he didn't want to shape it. He didn't want, it could just be natural created, right?
Right.
Which, if you're a psychopath, you can turn it into, use that broad interpretation to turn it in whatever you want to. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
The food thing. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. As far as, so this was a
Yeah,
bullying
that's
attempt, and as far as the UN specifically is concerned, if we would have voted for this to say that food is a human right, even though it fundamentally is a complete misunderstanding of what a right is and makes no logical sense because it requires forcing of labor, what would have happened is America would have magically become responsible for feeding all of these people. That's what they would have done had we voted for it. That's why America didn't vote for it and Israel didn't vote, because they are our only true ally in a sense. As much as I have a problem with things that we do for Israel, Israel does back us in a way that the rest of our allies never do, such as like this.
Yeah, it's really hard to know. There's so much misinformation on Israel right now that when I read,
I know
certain people, like I read a book from like Finkelstein, or then you read a book from,
I love the name,
any of, like, Finkelstein's very anti-Zionist, and he's Jewish. His grandparents died in the Holocaust.
Okay.
And he's very anti-Zionist. And then you read a book, or really just listen to Ben Shapiro on one of his rants, or you listen to Laura Loomer. There's a few other, there's a lot of other Zionist apologists, and they make they're totally not ashamed that they're getting paid. Like they say it like Obster Tatum. Yeah, I get money. Yeah, I get sponsored.
That's
he's
fine. I mean,
totally unashamed about it.
If you're gonna get it, you might as well be straightforward about it.
Yeah, it makes me respect him a little bit more. Like, at least I know where his opinions are coming from.
Right.
But then there's guys that are sneaky about it. Like, what's his face? The black guy speaks very intelligent. Coleman Hughes.
I don't think I'm familiar with
Coleman
him.
Hughes hides that fact. He works for Barry Weiss's company, and he just subtly pushes Zion, or has arguments about Zionism. So, but it just depends who you listen to. You listen to one, you're like, oh yeah, Israel. They're basically some of Israel is something they bought. Some of it was given to them by the British Empire, right? Certain parts of it, and then the rest was by conquest. And it's like, how do you hold any of that against them? That's how America was. I don't really understand what we're talking about here. Of course, that they won. I mean, they won. It's like we live in an era where we punish the victors. We're a secretive group, and they're very tight knit, and nobody really knows. So then they open up, right? They start, hey, come to Israel. Let's teach you about what Judaism is about. And now people are like, oh, they're trying to brainwash people. And I'm like, wow, they just can't fucking win, dude. Either they just keep to themselves, or they try to be open and let you in on what their religion's about. I mean, there's channels that are ask me anything, like Jewish guys. If you're a Gentile and you have any questions about Jews or Judaism, rabbinic Judaism, more prominently, they so it's the Torah and then there's the Talmud. And the Talmud is like basically arguments between rabbis. And so a lot of people point to the Talmud. Talmud is not like sacred Jewish faith, right? It's arguments, like two rabbis basically debating stuff. And people will point to that and say, oh, this is what the Jews believe from one line. And so some of these like Jewish explainers will get on there and be like, well, here's the line before, same guy making the counter argument, refuting what the other guy said. Like if they point to lines that say that Gentiles are animals, non-Jews. It turns out there was a super racist Jew in 300 AD. You know, like I mean,
who would have thought that could possibly exist?
Yeah, like you didn't find that in Christianity, where so I just some of it I think's not really fair, and then there's other things that are just human nature. Like if you got a group of people and they want to push the cause, you know, they're going to do it at the expense of anyone else for themselves to protect their group.
Right.
Right. I mean, the Mossad will literally just kill you. You know, like they have no problem going in and killing people, and they use it under they feel righteous about it. And that's the imagery they constantly push within that organization. Like, hey, you don't Hitler come again. You're going to destroy your own people by not killing that 11-year-old, you know?
Right.
That's how they get away, and that's how they freaking are able to do some of the stuff they get up to, you know?
Was there any tie in there, or?
What do you mean?
Okay, just checking.
Well, what were we originally talking about?
Good question. Next clip. I gotta figure out a way to do this in one click, because this whole 2-click thing is making it a lot more delayed.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to say I am so sorry.
Not on air.
For what is happening in Minneapolis and our country, really, but specifically Minneapolis right now, because it's where I shot my last stand-up special, and everybody there couldn't have been more lovely. I shot it there because they say it's the happiest city in America, and
is it?
I found
Not
that
right now.
true. So my thoughts and my prayers are going out to everyone. And I'm proud of everyone who's protesting peacefully, and I am sorry for anyone who has been hurt just for protesting, for doing what you should be doing.
What you should be
doing.
Yell at those kids.
Sending love.
Why aren't we yelling at more kids? That's the question.
Hey,
Yeah. Why aren't you yelling at more kids, Alan?
I think Don Lemon hit the nail on the head when he said, I'll paraphrase, those kids are very upset and they're probably going to be traumatized for this. But that's what
Did he say that?
This
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Protesting is all about.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. And yeah.
Well, and it's
and then I went on to Threads today. And there was so many people like saying we need to go in the church. This really upset them. We need to go in the churches and stuff. And I thought, you don't want to upset them like that. You're going to lose like anybody that's moderate that supported your mother of 3 that got shot for just driving her kids to school, right. You know, and then not doing anything. You know, there's a foot. She was letting people pass. She had her hand out the window, you know, and then now it's people storming a church and a big bearded guy screaming at children and mothers, and then Don Lemon walking and saying, "Oh, these kids are obviously traumatized. This is good. This is what we want."
Of course it is. Well, and you think that, you know, you think that chasing ICE around is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't a bunch of untrained civilians that are not bound by any, you know, ethics or and I'm not saying that people don't bind themselves to ethics. People's private property, you're going to get shot a lot quicker than you are by a cop. By going into more
Yeah,
churches
and
is what I mean.
people they have way less how
Good
to
ones
handle
are.
that kind of situation.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you deal with a
And they handle
mom
them much
with a
more
little
often.
kid.
Yeah.
There's a reason they do that crap in Minneapolis. They have like some of the strictest gun laws in the land. So
Yep. And it's very leftist. And you have a bunch of the conservatives that do live there.
I'm in that church. You got a little 3-year-old or 5-year-old there, and you're in your mind, you're already a little anxious, right? Because there was just a shooting that happened by um, a man who had a little mental episode and decided to go and hurt a lot of little children and then end the life of a few others. And that's in your mind. And you would be in that first moment. Then you realize they're just loudmouth idiots. Or then you think they're loudmouth idiots. And then you have a crazy guy with the beard things he's saying, like calling you like, look how comfortable are, you're not like Christ. You need to help your Somali brothers and sisters. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People have brown skin. You just don't like them because they have brown skin. And blah blah blah. And you go, yeah, maybe I'm not coming to church this week. Like I don't want to go through that again. And then you're saying these things like, we're going to keep doing this. I think what needs to happen is daddy needs to go to church with the kids. And daddy
Well, he should
needs
be
to
anyway,
sit in the back
technically.
pew. Find a way to take Sundays off, really start going to church. And then daddy needs to sit in the back pew and the mom and the woman in the front. And so there's trespassing laws where you can defend yourself, willing to get into a defensive fight for their children.
Yeah, well, and generally speaking, conservative men are. That's why I don't know if you remember this, but back in 2020 when Antifa was doing all this stuff again in BLM, there was one instance of Antifa going to a conservative town. They always do this only in liberal towns. They do it in LA, they do it in Minneapolis, they do it in Seattle, Portland. They don't do it in rural, local, diehard conservative area. And the entire neighborhood came out and kicked their ass the whole way out of the neighborhood. It was the funniest video I think I've ever watched for the show. I wish I would have thought about this because I would have pulled the video up so it was ready. And that's what needs to happen. I mean, if they're going to start violating private property and literal safe spaces like church, then that's what has to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think what they got up to, and then the people not like the people got mocked a lot for reacting the way they did, right? Like, oh, you didn't beat these people up, you didn't do this. And I'm like, they did the absolute smartest thing, right? They didn't start swinging and creating a brawl in front of a bunch of little kids.
Yeah, no, in this case, the people that were there did exactly what they should have, which was nothing. Is the first instance of it happening. They didn't know what was going on necessarily. And these protesters did not get violent, thank God. Not that what they did was start the violence necessarily. But
I almost think
always be ready.
The guys calling them like pussies and like over and over again saying these men were like just stood there like a bunch of wimps. I almost think they're leftists. Like they're trying to create that.
I do think that there was a lot of people that I saw, like the pastor, who was kind of frozen because they just didn't know what to do in that situation.
Oh, he was a shot. I think he handled himself okay when Don Lemon was talking to him. He's just like, you could just see the pure astonishment.
Yeah, he was in shock for sure. He just didn't know what to do, and he did handle himself okay. But I do think that there could have been a little more reaction from the men in that church. But But again, this is the first time this has happened.
They're
So
swinging, like with the pastor, you go, okay, there's a bunch of little kids around. The last thing you want to do as a man is put your kid, like, because fights go everywhere.
right.
You can't keep a fight in a small spot. So the chance of a kid getting hurt at that point,
Well, and
but I think
maybe there's two
the men
things
need to
that should have
sit. The
happened
women
then.
should sit up in the front. The men and some of the larger women, and they need to block them from coming in.
Yep.
And
think-
then
think
probably a man,
strategically.
this wouldn't have happened at a Greek Orthodox church.
I think that we
All
could also
the
say
women
that
would have separated because they've lived through this shit, dude. Like they've lived through persecution. They know how to deal with it. The woman said they move away, and then the men come. So they would have slowly herded them out of the church as soon as they started marching around, and they wouldn't have been violent with them. They would have just kept pushing them out.
yeah, it's probably going to lead to violence because these are violent people that are just waiting to be violent. And so as soon as you show them the slightest bit of resistance, it's probably what's going to happen. But the other thing that could have happened here is as soon as this happened, the women should have probably taken the children out of there. They should have immediately picked them up and taken them out of side doors. Some did, some just sat there.
Yeah.
Again, this is the first instance of this happening, so I'm not necessarily criticizing the people that were there in that moment. I'm just saying in the future going forward, the same thing you're saying, start thinking about this strategically and don't let this happen again.
Yeah, I don't think that they would have. They should have been more prepared. Like churches around here, because what happens around here is you got a lot of small churches because they're based on the community that they're in. So you got churches, 20 to 30 people, all over the place, and they all carry guns to church. God loves guns, so they carry guns to church. Yeah, you wouldn't be doing that. They would pull the gun. I don't think they'd shoot, but they would pull the guns on you. And you talk about dropping to the floor, and you pray, "I've become a Christian now." The guys that invaded the church.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'd get acquainted with the Maker.
Excuse me. There is some good news from this story here. I'll play it for you now.
Lockup's in there. We'll bring her in. She'll stand off to the side. I know this woman because I just did it.
Do you recognize her?
Oh yeah, vaguely. Oh, is she the one in the school?
She was the leader of this church incident.
Oh no! They got her.
Yep. They've been arrested. Several of them were arrested. I
don't know. How they're all big guy. He got arrested.
Yep. See, so that's her.
Field office of ICE in St. Paul. He also.
There's an interesting point in the video here. I'm going to let this play, even though we watched this the other day, where you can see something fascinating happen.
They got a. They're gonna get a GoFundMe, you know that.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna be obscene.
But overseeing ICE agents in the field. We know that ICE agents just killed Renee
we don't need to listen to her.
We know that they shot a Venezuelan nationalist. We know that they almost killed a 6-month-old baby in North Minneapolis, as well as terrorized their whole family of 6. Had to send 3 of their children to the hospital.
There was a particular moment I saw earlier when I watched through this
at the cars of innocent people.
that I'm
We know
trying to
that they
find
drag
here.
people out of their cars, out of their homes. They drag pregnant
It's a
women.
conversation
They
that the
attack
bearded
immigrants
guy
and US
has
citizens.
with
So how dare
a
somebody claim to be
black
pastor
patron of that
while
church.
overseeing evil? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now you guys
Oh, the one where he calls him a traitor.
It's very revealing.
Like, what are you doing here?
It very well might be, because that was the tone of the conversation.
Get your house in order. Don't pretend to be a church.
He bullies him, basically.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Which I find fascinating. All right, we got to be coming up on it here. Right here.
You're literally East African.
They keep
How do you
their
feel about
identity secret. That's why they're mad.
Find a better church, bro.
Join the black church, bro.
Find a black church.
The black church is part of the civil rights movement, brother.
My brother.
Come join the black church, man. It's good. That's where you belong.
That's where you belong.
That's where you belong. Oh.
I guess that wasn't the bearded guy.
You can't even do the zebra comment because it's so bad. You know, like you go up to a white person and they're in a black church. You need to go to white church, brother. That's where you belong.
Yeah. Wrong feed there. There we go. Yeah, that's where you belong. That's what really stuck out to me. Like, pretty sure he belongs wherever he feels like he belongs. Like,
yeah,
it's not about Renee Good. It's not about ICE. Not about it's not about black versus white even. It's just about chaos. That's all it is. It's seizing on chaos. Both you and I have said it over and over in different ways over the last couple weeks. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I said it and then you just repeated me over and over again. It was nice.
Yes. That's That's what
I know how you do, man.
All right. Let's see here. So we got two other stories here, and then we'll get to the main story. Two other short stories here, and we'll get to the main story. This first one is JD Vance responding in such a effective way, and so I wanted to highlight it. So you might have seen the headlines in the last 24 hours. ICE detains 5-year-old boy, right? And we've seen several similar ones over the last several over the last several weeks. Well, JD Vance is going to explain what exactly was going on with ICE detaining this 5-year-old boy here.
Oh, okay.
Hang on one second. Why? Oh, shoot. Hang on. I'm like, why can't the viewers see the video? But I understand what I did wrong.
What'd you do wrong? This time.
I had it on the wrong browser. There we go.
A local school district here is alleging ICE agents detained a 5-year-old after preschool on Tuesday.
We trusted you.
Is conducting this immigration crackdown here in Minnesota right now.
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind law enforcement, and I'm proud of the fact that we're enforcing the country's laws. But, you asked a question about this 5-year-old kid. I actually saw this terrible story while I was coming to Minneapolis. We just left Toledo, Ohio this morning for an economic messaging event. And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy, and I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien, and then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America? If the argument is that you can't arrest people who have violated our laws because they have children, then every single parent is going to be completely given immunity from ever being the subject of law enforcement. That doesn't make any sense. No one thinks that makes any sense. Now, there are so many of these cases like that where if you just understand the context, there have been a number of situations that I've looked into personally where I say, wait a second, we don't want ICE arresting American citizens. They're supposed to be enforcing the immigration laws against illegal aliens. So then I look into it and I find out that the American citizen who was arrested took a swing at an ICE officer. You can't have that happen. And of course they have to defend themselves. And of course they have the right to detain somebody who assaults a law enforcement officer. Now, this is my point. These guys want it least of all, but if we had a little cooperation from local and state officials, I think the chaos would go way down.
Hey, did you title this one Meanwhile in Mexico too?
No. Did it show up as that?
Oh,
let's see.
I think so.
No? Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't say. It does that sometimes where it doesn't save. It'll update now to the correct thing. But yeah, so JD Vance there, there's really nothing that we need to discuss as far as the story here. We're well aware that the mainstream media has been running these BS headlines. And when you look into it, the details are much different. But what I appreciated about this is JD Vance is really everything that we kind of wish that Trump was. And that is, any previous Republican, I don't know, I need to look into it, I'll get back to you, right? And maybe or maybe not, the White House would issue a press statement later on in writing. But no, aliens go. The fact that they have children with them is not something we can just ignore, and we can't just leave a 5-year-old by himself because we arrested his father. Of course, ICE took him into custody until they can find, a family member that they can hand him off to. And that ability, because it's all about finding that angle that they can take to make it look bad. And conservatives have to be aware all the time. Okay, how are they manipulating the stories in today, right? We've seen from JD Vance many times where he's very clearly stating the issue and putting the media themselves back on the back foot instead of conservatives being there. Last story here. This one's a bit different. So this is going to be the school resource officer from Uvalde. And if we're in U.S. history, and the reason for that primarily is because some idiot.
They didn't arrest them, they detained them. It's important to
Do you remember how long altogether that stand down order, while the scene was still active?
I think 50 minutes.
5 minutes. All these police officers were on the scene, but none of them were allowed to go in and stop the shooter, who continued to kill people. The guy that gave the order to stand down.
Oh, he wouldn't comment. You remember that? Like, he got all shy all of a sudden.
Right, I remember that, but I don't know why he's not on trial. And maybe he will be, I'm not sure, or maybe he is, and I'm just not aware. But right now, the school resource officer, so the one that was first on the scene, obviously, because he was already there, he did not respond. He stood outside the classroom and kind of reported what was going on. And that sucks. That's not good. But
that's why you become a school resource officer, so you can report on what's going on.
Yeah, and you definitely shouldn't be a cop if you're too afraid to act in the moment, right? But to be fair too, you don't know until the moment happens. It freezes when bad things happen. We need to transition him into a desk role or fire him or whatever.
Yeah,
it is,
we need to put him in the GIP suit.
How do you feel about that? Do you think he should be on trial?
The cop?
Yeah.
The hesitated?
The school resource
absolute
officer.
Failure of duty?
Yeah.
I don't hate it, to be honest with you. I'm not like, I don't know, I just don't hate it.
Yeah, I'm not. So I don't have a problem that he's on trial.
Off, if like nothing happens to him other than like a slap on the wrist, a dereliction of duty and protecting your ass while children are dying.
Right.
Like, there will be a consequence.
Yeah, we pay you to stand around all day, 364 days a year, so that you will respond that one time that it is necessary. And if you don't do it that one time, that's kind of a problem, because why were we paying you for the last 20 years?
Yeah. How many, let's see, how much does a school resource officer in
Uvalde?
No, it just in Texas make.
Okay. I can tell you whatever
a school resource officer in Texas make.
I can tell you whatever they come back with, it's not going to be anywhere near what he actually makes, because base pay is very different from actual pay.
Dude,
with
this
officers.
thing sucks on like your voice thing. I said, how much is a school resource? And it said SKOLL. Like skull, like the Vikings would say.
School.
Yeah.
So I'll get the feed ready while you're doing that, because we actually do have the video that I have is the verdict coming out. He was charged with 29 counts of child neglect.
How it depends how long he had been. Do you know any information on how long he'd been an officer? Because if he'd been an officer for more than 4 years, the estimate is $70,000 to $80,000 a year. And you only work while school is in session. So,
and that's good pay.
And then
Texas.
you can get extra pay for doing summertime. You get extra pay for doing like summer school.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like the base pay, which is usually what's cited, is very different from the actual pay they receive. According to this, he was a 10-year.
Oh yeah, and he was definitely making
veteran.
Around up to 80,000.
Oh, at least. Yeah.
Top earners. The experienced top earners can earn 84,000. Around 84,000. The thing their case salaries can be significantly based on experience, job responsibilities. This is contingent on them working for the school year. This is not including summertime bonus pay.
Yep. So he's paid very well, and in general doesn't have a lot to do, generally speaking.
No, and then he gets the whole summer off if he wants it, and he still makes possibly 80 to 84,000.
Yeah,
with 10 years. If you're 5 years, you're 70 to 80,000, and if you're over the like 10, here it says 11 to 13 years, they typically can make up to 84,000.
Yeah.
So that's in Texas. Other places, that's actually more than a lot of places. New York is only 78,000 mid-range average.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those places, though, where that's because a lot of it is in bonuses and OT and all that. Because, like, here in Washington, I don't know what the base pay is, but I do know that a school resource officer is probably pulling 80 to 100, no problem.
North Carolina, they make 65,000. Let's see what the low. Let me see what Washington is.
I'm kind of surprised at 80 for Texas. That's a good salary in Texas.
Oh, this also has Canada on them. This also has Canada on it, and every single one for Canada is in the very bottom. They don't have anything above last place. Newfoundland, 45,000. Saskatchewan, 45. Northwest Territory,
Canadians
45. British Columbia
do not make as much as Americans do.
They make 40,000 to 45,000 in Canada. The lowest North Carolina state, or the lowest American state for school resource officer is 5066. These are all just basic averages through all officers, not including the tenured versus the guys that make more. Yeah, the guys that make more who are tenured, or like the new guys. This is just base average for all of them.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Canadian salary is taxed a lot higher too.
Yeah, dude.
So it's
45.
even less take home. And that's the thing. Like anytime Canadians like to talk about, oh, we don't have to. Our healthcare is included in our taxes, and they're more, but they're not significantly more. It's like, yeah, but your pay is also significantly less because your employer has to pay a huge chunk of that too. So they can't
paid. Right. To the lowest paid total averages is Washington with 81,500.
That's the highest.
That's the absolute highest average.
That doesn't surprise me.
After that, it's District of Columbia, which 80K, only makes an average of, dude.
That 80K.
So you're 81,500.
Jesus Christ.
District of Columbia is 81,315.
That 80K though here in Washington, and even worse in DC probably, compared to the 80K in Texas, that's more like making 50 here because of the difference in cost of living.
Let me see what an experienced guy makes. Like that.
All right, and then we'll cut to this video here of the verdict on whether the school resource officer is guilty of child neglect for not responding
Burning
to
range
the
for a
situation.
school resource officer in Washington State. Holy crap. So if you're tenured in Washington,
The rest of the country, when you take out the higher cost of living.
Holy crap. That is insane. 135,000 for 5 years of work. I don't know what the other thing said. It said starting pay is 112,000. The other thing must be like old or something.
I'm not sure. Yeah. All right.
Not including summer school hours. Not, holy shit. You could be rich. 10 years
well,
working
so
in
you got to live
as a
on
school
some
resource.
of it.
No, but like if you were like a penny pitcher, like you ate like you lived like you only made 20,000. No, actually, you
135K here in Washington is even up to 150. That's a solid middle class income here in Washington. It's not exactly.
Yeah, but like let's say you lived like you only made 35,000 a year. You lived like that.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure you could. Because 35,000 that's minimum wage here in Washington. Yeah, they keep jacking the minimum wage up, which jacks the cost of living up considerably. A 1-bedroom apartment is $2,200 to $2,500. You have a house, for example, so you're only paying taxes and insurance and stuff. But it would be a meager lifestyle. Let me see.
Yeah, like you live super meager, so you could have $1 million.
25. So if you had a 1-bedroom apartment at $35,000 a year, that's $30,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment here. $2,500 a month.
Dang.
$30,000 a year. Yeah. So it would not be easy to live on 35. You could do it, but you'd have to have a roommate. You'd have to, It's
yeah,
expensive.
That would suck to be in England. They're so confused by that. You have a room, mate? No, I don't have a room. No, do you have a room, mate? No, I said I don't have a room.
That's because they don't have rooms at all. They can't have a roommate.
No, because they add mate to everything.
Right.
So
I got you.
It's like a who's
I
on,
got you.
It's a who's on first base.
Yeah.
But in England.
All right, let's see the verdict here. I don't know what it's going to be. I lean towards not guilty, but I want to see some sort of, at least fired type punishment.
Are they like, this is the verdict?
This is the verdict, yes.
Oh, I thought we didn't know. Oh, give her. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. We're about to find out. Oh, it's just really quiet. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Hang on one sec. I'm going to check if maybe the gate's cutting off.
Please be seated in the courtroom.
There we go.
Members of the jury, I've received information that you have a verdict. Could I have the presiding juror stand momentarily? Could I have defendant and counsel please rise?
A lot of tension.
Yeah. Yeah. See what it says. Oh my gosh, it's taking forever.
01U, the state of Texas versus Adrian Gonzalez. In each of the 29 counts, we, the jury, members of the jury, I want to thank each and every one of you for your close attention and your patience and being with us timely throughout this trial. I know it was not easy.
People that were hoping for a guilty verdict, I guess.
It looks like all his family there.
Shoot. There we go. Some families too, but
That's exactly.
They charged him with 29 counts of child abandonment or endangerment, which is probably the appropriate charge.
Him just going to court sets a message, but like, just imagine if he went in there and just put the guy had head.
Yeah.
Game over, bitch. Bitch.
All right. Let's
put it on, or I'm gonna do I'm gonna show my threads real quick. So how do I do that again? I go to.
You're gonna do that while I take a break. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. I'll let me get you set up on the screen here then.
All right.
Let me see. Why is it not letting me bring you up?
All right, so I'm sharing right now.
Yes, you are sharing. We can see your screen. If you don't want me to see it yet, let me know. Everybody's watching it.
Good.
All right. I'm trying to find here. I got to get it. There we go. All right. Your screen is now full screen on the show. I'm going to take off. I'll be back in just a minute. So it's all you.
All right. Hey, there we are. Looky there.
Feel that in a second.
To me, how a lot of people online get any hate for saying that word. I think they just leave you alone past a certain point. I guess you haven't. Pieced them off enough. Illuminati about this guy is so sometimes he'll post interesting stuff and then like 99% of the time it's these green and renewable wind turbine blades have outlived their 20-year lifespan and can't be recycled. So they've come to die at this wind turbine graveyard in Texas. Now, this was a good one, right? This is a relevant type of post he did, which is different. Uh-oh.
Force. I will kill on sight, and I will shoot to kill if need be. ICE agents are not allowed in my home. If you come into my home to terrorize my family, I will see you as a threat.
That's the left whole. They have the mentally retarded, or they have people out there, literal people that are mentally retarded, and that's why they do not want to open the insane asylums again. Someone's like, it was the Republicans that closed them, and I'm like, yeah, because they turned to shit, run by Democrat doctors, running experiments on them. So that's why. Right, so we tried to reopen them. We closed them because they were doing horrible things, which you could also agree was bad. We want to open them up again. Any leftists are mentally ill, okay? So we put them in an insane asylum. We treat them, right? We get them the right medications. And a lot of those homeless guys don't want to take the medication. That's why they run away and go on the street. They go to places like Skid Row because there's a lot of drugs available. They will go and hang out in these big communities because they know that's where they can get their drugs. Oftentimes they're self-medicating from their mental illness, so whatever they're suffering with. And see what old Dan Scavino posted there.
Governor Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros, and the church. He was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry, and I'm sure the California people won't forget that. And
okay, thanks, Dan. All right, let's hit directions and could be fitting trade partners. This is the kind of stuff I need to know. Breaking. Justin Novoa was just arrested in Columbus, Ohio, for threatening to kill ICE agents. He allegedly wrote on X, "Can't wait to shoot these P asterisk 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 Y." That's very, I don't know what he meant. ICE agents and retarded MAGA ammo when executing search warrant. He can face up to 10 years in prison. Thanks, Justin.
The kingdom's wealth, its military power, and
What's
its
that?
rural splendor.
Oh, sorry,
I was going to say, I don't think that's me.
that was my bad. That was old Matt Walsh explaining some shit. Tiffany Fong. Interesting. Dude, Cat Turd is such a kiss ass. Like, I like some of the stuff he posts, but he is such a suck ass when it comes to Trump. Everything Trump does, he is behind it, even when Trump this, and this. And then Cat Turd will be like, this. If it's not this and this and this, the world's gonna be like, you can't do this, this, and this. That'll kill the world. I mean, it'd be the worst thing ever if this, and this happened. And that's why it's hard to take Cat Turd very seriously. At least Benny.
That's one way to put it.
Mm-hmm. How atheists feel after calling God Sky Daddy. The meme of the old days. Oh, that was a good one. That was a fun one. The problem is radical Islam and that's the problem. Oh,
not have their rights taken away, because that, if you do not have the courage to look yourself in the mirror, to look the country in the eye and say it is not guns that are the problem, but it is radical Islam that is a problem, then all you are doing is diverting attention and taking away the rights of lawful Australians.
You see all the faces of the people in the back? They don't even know what to think.
Areas that have done the right thing by this country, that have abided by the law and should not have their rights taken away, because that is the problem. That's the gutless nature of this government that will not own up to the problems that has been.
I think people really underestimate how violent parliaments get.
If you do not have the courage to look yourself.
Yeah, like I was talking to my sister about this the other day. She was like, man, British people, like she was talking to some British people online and they're like, we just love watching American politics because you guys get so, like nasty and stuff. And I was like, dude, he doesn't watch British politics. And they start screaming and throwing crap at each other. Like New Zealand politics, they come in doing a Oaxaca dance, Yeah,
in the UK is specifically what I was thinking of. They rush the podium all the time to beat up on each other.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if you go to one, they're all like old fat guys, so playing for like 3 minutes while all the rest of the fighting's happening. And then he finally goes around because he can't get over the 2-foot chair. He finally goes all the way around. By the time he gets there, it's like all broken up and he doesn't have anyone to hit. So he just slapped his own guy on the back of the head and his own, like on his political side, I guess, because he turns around and then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." Well, that was a fun video.
British Parliament I'm going to play.
Okay.
Order on my left.
Here, I'll share it so you can see it. This is South Africa, so I guess it's not just British Parliament, sorry. This is different parliaments. That guy just jumped right in there. But yes, American politics is so vile.
America! I wanted to ask my sister, I was like, were they talking about the like the language we use? Because They're very polite in English ones, typically.
Yeah, our Congress is, of course, orchestrated by Democrats in Congress history, I believe.
Oh, good thing they can't throw a punch. It really helps. Keeps everyone safe when no one can fight.
So that's Ukrainian parliament. Apparently they modeled their parliament exactly like the House.
Oh, he's upset about something.
There we go. Nice and polite with each other.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do. I wanted to keep scrolling through X, see if that seemed kind of fun.
Yeah,
Just find shit to talk about, make fun of it.
All right, you're back up on screen.
You just get back! Get here! Get back! I'm in the gas! Get back! Gas is coming! Warning!
Oh, I've seen that guy before. That was the guy that got interviewed in by that leftist politician the other day. Remember that?
You talking about Greg Bonvino?
You do not have the courage to look yourself in the mirror. To look the...
You say what?
I said, are you talking about Greg Bovino there?
The guy that just said you're gonna get gassed?
Yeah.
Oh, then you do know the interview I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, so he's the that's the head of Border Patrol. And because of the way that the leftist judges have been reacting to them using tear gas, he has taken it upon himself to always be the one to use it. I assume in order to prevent any of his Border Patrol agents getting, brought up on ridiculous charges by the leftist judges in Chicago. Which, good on him for doing.
Hey, is my screen?
Yeah, you're on screen, and you don't need to put your picture overlay on it. You're already right next.
Picture too. So, can they see like my screen pretty good, or do I have to zoom in on shit?
No, you can see it just the thing you're looking at, basically. As far as readability and stuff.
Immigration as a weapon. Why are only white societies being replaced? White, huh? They told us we needed immigrants to make up for low birth rates. They lied. Feminism caused low birth rates.
She's a pretty good journalist. She's from Germany.
And decided to come
like Australian, and then I heard the vocal fry, and I went, she's definitely. This freaking guy.
She reminds me of the Sydney chick
Brian
from
Cranston.
Australia.
Huh?
She reminds me of the Sydney chick from Australia before she went crazy.
Sydney Watson. Yeah, so
I don't know.
How is she crazy now? I remember she did.
I don't know
like
if she's
an interview
better now.
with Nick Fuentes.
I don't know what's his name. Oh man, I can't think of his name at the moment. But she was doing a show with this guy who was great in the beginning, and their show was actually pretty good. But he went off the deep end with the Jew stuff, like real deep. He's a lot like Fuentes, in a way. You'll know who I'm talking about when I remember his name. But so anyway, they stopped doing that show. I assume the Blaze probably kicked him out because he veered so heavily into the Jew stuff. And
yeah, they all do.
So now that they're not doing something together, she might be, she might
distract the public from his fraud case.
God, it kills
I
me
assume that is our man in Minnesota. Melissa Tate.
Yes, sir, we did. Yes, we did. And the subpoena covered the time period.
Cell phone companies to target members of Congress to turn over records. Fox report, AT&T gave Jack Smith. Yeah.
It's not okay what they did. He's damn near dead anyway. Hold a congressional hearing that lays out the evidence and we prove that Joe Biden did something illegal, fine. But don't try to prosecute him for it. Because That's the consequence of electing somebody like that president.
People, the media, schools, everyone, is because white people have no one defending them. So they're easy targets. Okay. If you target black people, everyone will come and attack you, but white people don't have anyone to protect them. It's been widely allowed to discriminate against white people. This is not how a society that claims to value fairness and equality should function. Racism against everyone should be wrong, without exception. Yeah, this is hyping for applause, essentially. Oh, the Cuomo. No, Chris Cuomo. They are illegal aliens. Just because you don't like the term doesn't make it untrue. What's with all the fired CNN hosts acting like fools? I think NW Rain Judy is a black fellow.
The vernacular, and you know it, but that's not the point. The point is,
okay, let's.
You see this clip of Scott Jennings saying, "How are you going to enforce it? How are you going to enforce me not saying the word illegals anymore? How are you going to do that?"
Say illegals anymore, because ICE is directly targeting legal citizens of this country, and how are you going to enforce your edict on me? Just out of curiosity. Listen, I understand.
I love that guy.
What are you, bully now?
Elijah Schaefer, that was the kid's
Because
name.
you're talking to this kid who happens to be right.
I like how Chris Cuomo,
That's
the guy,
exactly
like,
who Cuomo
always
is.
tries to be a tough guy. You come after any illegals I know? Yeah, I'm gonna smoke you. What do you mean by smoke, Chris? I was gonna share a cigarette with you.
What are you going to do it? What are you going to do?
That's a pejorative against my people.
His mocking voice is.
But everything's convenience these days, right? It's getting you paid. But be careful.
Uh-huh.
If you want to be a tough guy, there are plenty
I gotta
of
get
tough
some.
guys. Somebody beats your ass because you're being.
He just
rude and
wants his dad to be
disrespectful and
proud.
causing division in this country.
He was the
That's
lowly
causing
CNN host, but his brother was the governor of New York.
And making
Did you hear what he said?
want to hurt one another. You really want to be a part of that, as the expression goes. FAFO.
Get back on track. He wrote this out, practiced it, just like he was doing it live.
Don't be a tough guy. Not you.
No, fuck off. I sincerely pray that Don Newman finds Christ in a federal prison.
Okay, crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No.
Controlled out products. They stick the ads in, don't they? It's not a crime, it's a misdemeanor. Don Lemon is not a retard. He's retarded.
They're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point.
Okay, we know this. We know he's retarded. How is Charlie Kirk still posting?
Somebody is obviously posting from his page.
I mean, I loved, I didn't have to be a super fan to be happy that he was out there working college campuses. I mean, his stuff was like never targeted towards me or probably you, because he was going for young college kids. So his message was very digestible. It was, he basically took what college people were into and so it would be these little 30-second debate clips where he says, he has a quick comeback to something. Mm-hmm. And they were operating in shallow waters anyway. They were literally just saying what their professor had just told them.
Right.
So retard finder. Inside the mind of a retard. A misdemeanor is not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
Okay, Donnie.
Dude, he went to school with Kamala Harris.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell which one of these are like commercials or not sometimes. Ron?
I don't know.
Oh, he used to be a historical researcher. Then after Charlie Kirk got shot, he just went I wouldn't say far left. He just took off the I don't want to say mask because it sounds, derogatory, but he just opened up. Basically, he came out of the closet. That's a better thing. As a conservative Catholic. As a teacher, the ones at the top are colleagues. The ones at the bottom are frauds. A propagandist is not a teacher. Teachers when I was a kid, bunch of old ladies with a younger lady in the middle. I hope everyone had a good recess. It's time for math. Teachers now. Whiteness is privilege. Now, who is ready to hear about my sexuality? Yeah. How to get nominated for the Academy Awards. Be black. Make a movie. I've seen any movies in the last 4 years. Like, how many movies? Like, they weren't overly racist. Like, they had a basic plot line.
What do you mean? So how many like regular movies have I seen in the last several years?
Like there was nothing woke in it. Like when was the last time?
There's a couple I can think of, but they're very few and far between. There's a couple TV shows and a couple movies that have made it through, but only a couple, and that's out of one of the largest content periods in history. There's been more content put out in the last 10 years than there ever has been before, and I can only think of a handful.
All right. Now I was just checking. I can't think of like that one Viking movie, The Northman. Yeah, most of just so many movies. They just insert like if it's a historical fiction is like my favorite type of storytelling. My favorite books that I read. They are my favorite books that I read. They're my favorite movies from my childhood. Braveheart wasn't necessarily historically accurate, but I don't care, and like Saving Private Ryan was a awesome movie. The other ones, but Muhammad was a PDF file. Just putting that. Just got to keep putting that out there. Dear Patriots and fellow fighters, today I asked. Oh, you remember the game we played the other day, the British one?
The British one?
Kept trying to get you to go to the, This Is Britain rallies and crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they made her a meme. And.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm English, and I love England. I like having fish and chips and a pint at the local pub. I like Shakespeare and Dickens, Tolkien and Lewis, Harry Potter. I like pork sausage and dogs and fashion.
Haram! Haram!
But I
This isn't even AI either, by the way.
Brits are famously polite, but it mustn't mean we're willing to commit cultural suicide. Orange bloody hell did we go from Churchill to you git? Sadiq Khan the mayor? This is London, mate, not Afghanistan. Or Star Wars.
I'll get it back.
Our government won't even protect our schoolgirls from grooming gangs. Sod off, packy wankers! The police won't help. They're too busy confiscating garden tools and suppressing free speech.
That's right, miss.
That looks like James Corden.
What have I done, officer?
There are 50 Islamic nations in the world. Muslims don't need to make it right, does it, Robin Hood? These dragons that threaten our England won't go away unless brave knights rise up to slay them. Or did all the British bloodline to the country, and it's being taken from you? I don't want this to be the future of the women of England, and I'm sure the women of Iran and Afghanistan didn't want it either. Your ancestors beat the Spanish Armada. Love
that they decided was the extremist one in the game. Wasn't that funny? All right, thank you very much. So this is the answer.
Yeah, your camera's messed up here, so I'm gonna restart Discord and see if we can fix it. It's not coming back online, so give me a second. Let me restart Discord. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hang on just a second, guys. And get this restarted here. See if that fixes the problem. All right. We're back
Is it
up
working?
there. Let me get my camera back on. Hopefully, yes.
All right.
You ready to move to the last story?
Yeah, we can. I was having fun doing this. Not really meant to be a show, though.
Yeah, the only thing is that I'll have to cut all that out for the audio because they can't see nothing.
Well, that's why I was describing it.
Having a good old nap. All right. So, hang on, let me take care of this. There we go. All right, for the last story
Dude,
today.
I had a post get 2.9 thousand views and not one like or response or anything. And it has now engagements are when somebody clicks on it, right?
Right.
Yeah, so like either they click on it, they like it,
Yeah,
they share it, or they just click on to enlarge it. And the thing was about Rachel Ziegler, and I said the Razzie is for the greatest actress in the world, right? Yeah, I had 400 engagements and one like and one comment.
Wow.
And like that I can see. Like, isn't that weird? Because there'll be a ton of comments under something. It'll be like 10 comments, and then I can't see them. And then like I'll ask somebody else to go to my profile and look at that comment, and then see if they can see the comments, and they can't see them. Very. Yeah, like normally the spam one, it'll say, like, you can click on a thing. It says see potential spam, right?
Right.
But not on it.
If it's a flagged account, though, they might just delete it. I'm not sure. All right, so for the last story today, we're going to move over to the year and tune in and check out Swamp People Davos Edition.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole, the CDC is like this whole governmental body.
Exactly what, it's exactly what the people at Davos would have you believe.
Yeah, you don't think about it, dude. Yeah, that is him for sure.
Yeah, that, I don't even remember where that clip came from, but I've had it for a long time and haven't used it nearly enough. I was just that part of it too, but I figured the longer one made more sense for this. But anyway, Donald Trump made his speech, so his team has been over there. All of them have made excellent speeches. There's been some great things going on, but Donald Trump came in the room and he literally, figuratively slammed his balls down.
Okay, what the heck are we even doing, dude?
They did.
Oh, man.
It's absolutely amazing. There's some big news that we'll share here at the end of this, but let's go ahead and watch just a little bit of his speech here. This is Schwab, of course, introducing him. Oh, there we go. I was like, what happened? But we're good.
Trump.
It amazes me they let him speak. One of his best speeches ever was
well, thank you very much, Klaus, and hello to everyone in beautiful Davos. This has been a truly historic week in the United States. 3 days ago, I took the oath of office, and we began the golden age of America. The recent presidential election was won by millions of votes, and all seven, every one of them, all seven swing states. It was a massive mandate from the American people like hasn't been seen in many years. And some of the political pundits, even some of my so-called enemies, the world has witnessed in the past 72 hours is nothing less than a revolution of common sense. Our country will soon be stronger, wealthier, and more united than ever before, and the entire planet will be more peaceful and prosperous as a result of this incredible momentum and what we're doing and going to do. My administration is acting with unprecedented speed to fix the disasters we've inherited from a totally inept group of people and to solve every single crisis facing our country. This begins with confronting the economic chaos caused by the failed policies of the last administration. Over the past 4 years, our government racked up $8 trillion in wasteful deficit spending and inflicted nation-wrecking energy restrictions, crippling and sky-high interest rates for our citizens, and even throughout the world. Food prices and the price of almost every other killer with our high inflation economy and at our border. Because of these ruinous policies, total government spending this year is $1.5 trillion higher than was projected to occur when I left office just 4 years ago. Likewise, the cost of servicing the debt is more than 230% higher than was projected in 2020. The inflation rate we are inheriting remains 50% higher than the historic target. It was the highest inflation probably in the history of our country. That's why from the moment I took office, I've taken rapid action to reverse each and every one of these radical left policies that created this calamity.
Do you want to hear this whole thing, or do you want me to skip forward a little bit to where he's addressing
immigration, crime, and inflation? On day one, I signed an executive order directing every member of my cabinet to marshal all powers at their disposal to defeat inflation and reduce the cost of daily life. Old regulations for every new regulation, which will soon put many thousands of dollars back in the pockets of American families. To every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff. Investing at least $600 billion in America, but I'll be asking the Crown Prince, who's a fantastic guy, to round it out to around $1 trillion, which frankly, I'm surprised they didn't do before the election.
It's funny for how much people talk about,
love
he's in the pocket of oil companies.
I was a little surprised by that.
The one thing oil companies
if the price came down, the Russia-Ukraine war, responsible actually to a certain extent for what's taking place. Millions of lives are being lost. With oil prices going down, I'll demand that interest rates drop immediately, and likewise, they should be dropping all over the world. Interest rates should follow us. All over the progress that you're seeing is happening because of our historic victory in a recent presidential election, one that has become quite well known throughout the world. I think a lot of things are happening to a lot of countries. Understand what there is a future and how great the future will be under our leadership. America is back and open for business. And this week, I'm also taking swift action to stop the invasion at our southern border. They allowed people to come in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It was ridiculous. I decided and declared to do, and very, very importantly, a national emergency on our border, immediately halted all entry of illegal border crossers, of which there were many, and began promptly returning the illegal trespassers back to the place from which they came.
You can tell he's still reading on the script,
as you've probably seen, has already started very strongly. I've deployed action. We will not allow our territory to be violated. After 4 long years, the United States is strong and sovereign and a beautiful nation. Once again, it's a strong, sovereign nation. In addition, I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America, and we've saved it strongly. With another historic executive order this week, I also ended the weaponization of law enforcement against the American people and, frankly, against politicians, and restored the fair, equal, and impartial rule of law. My administration has taken action to abolish all, with the recent yet somewhat unexpected great Supreme Court decision just made. America will once again become a merit-based country. You have to hear that word.
I wonder what decision that is he's referring to.
Merit-based country. And I've made it official, an official policy of the United States, that their operations, which became the rage, will occur very rarely. Finally, as we restore common sense in America, we're moving quickly to bring back strength and peace and stability abroad. I'm also going to ask all NATO nations to increase defense spending to 5% of GDP, which is what it should have been years ago. It was only at 2%, and most nations didn't pay until I came along. I insisted that they pay, and they did,
and then
because the United States was really paying the difference at that time, and it was unfair to the United States. But many, many things have been unfair for many years to the United States. Before even taking office, my team negotiated a ceasefire agreement in the Middle East, which wouldn't have happened without us, as I think most of the people in the room know. Earlier this week, the hostages began to return to their families. They are returning, and it's a beautiful sight, and they'll be coming in more and more. They started coming back on Sunday. Our efforts to secure a peace settlement between Russia and Ukraine are now hopefully underway. It's so important to get that done. That is an absolute killing field. Millions of soldiers are being killed. Nobody's seen anything like it since World War II. They're laying dead all over the flat fields. It's a flat field farmland. We have big events coming up. Next year, we have the 250th anniversary of America's founding. I'm so honored to be president during that. That's been a big event, very instrumental in helping us get it. He's there with you someplace, I think, and I want to thank him for that. And then we have the Olympics coming up, which I was instrumental in getting also in my first term. And who would have known that by skipping a term, I would get the Olympics? I was upset. I said, you know, I got the Olympics to come and I won't be president. But it turned out through a stroke of luck, or whatever you might call it, that I'm going to be president during the World Cup and the Olympics and the 250th anniversary. So that's going to be 3 big events. And we've accomplished more in less than 4 days. We have really been working 4 days than other administrations.
It's easier to agree with you. You don't have to listen to him. He was doing, in a lot of regards,
greatly
in the government, like I would be totally annoyed by him. Like if he was just a dude that you had to work with.
Like, I want to thank everybody for
look what I did. I accomplished this. Like I did this thing, and you're just like, oh, dude. Like,
stop.
He goes and like welds a pipe together. I made the greatest weld on the pipe. No one can make that weld like I made it.
Questions now from some very distinguished people. Thank you all very much.
All right, this should be where.
Thank you very much.
They all kiss his ass when they're in the room.
But next year it will be even better. But I hope to see you.
I feel like white ass kissing.
So
yeah.
We also know, Mr. President.
Well, he didn't say. He didn't say, all right, thanks, Trump. Moving on to our first question. It was a very nice...
Did they do that to him before? I don't ever remember them saying that.
Yeah, I have heard that. No, that's what I'm saying. Anytime he's at Dog, which he's not even there. He's just, he's on video. But anytime he's
he didn't
with
have time
them,
for that shit.
they kiss his ass. But when they're all by themselves in their home countries talking on television, they're all talking shit.
Yeah, it's easier to talk shit when the guy's not there, you know, the most powerful man in the world's not like right next to you, then it's easier to.
Well, and that's why Trump's, you know, because if he was like, yeah, you know, screw you, Trump, he'd be like, you know what, bombed, and you never know, he might do it.
It's kind of like a thing with UFC fighters. When you get UFC fighters and be like, you motherfucker, like talking shit about a guy from a bigger weight class. And then when they're backstage and you see them in the same ring, goes, hey, man, I heard you've been talking. I'm just the greatest fan and the biggest. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Because they know what that guy's capable of, especially if he weighs like 2 weight classes above them.
Yep.
You know, it turns into an ass-kissing fest. Man, when you did that roundhouse kick on Johnson, oh my God. Yeah. All right, what do we got?
That you open up for interaction here. We have a great panel with some of the most distinguished business people in the world. Let me start with someone that you know really well, that I think is almost a neighbor of you in Malarato.
We're watching it again?
In Florida.
No, this is...
Mr. Steve Schwartzman, Chairman, CEO,
I didn't realize there
and
was
co-founder
more.
of Blackstone Group. So, Steve, floor's yours.
This is what I was looking for was...
Well, Mr. President, I'm sure the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia will be really glad you gave this speech today.
Yeah.
4 days that anybody can imagine, and congratulations for that. My question
Schwartzman.
is,
can you find out where he's
about
from?
some of the things I've observed here at Davos.
Wait, do we have a first name?
It's a terrific forum.
All I have is Schwartzman.
No, I just put Schwartzman Davos. I got it.
As usual.
All right,
I
thanks.
think I've been here 30 years.
If you need me to spell it, let me know.
And a lot of the European business people have expressed, and they attribute slower growth rates
spit it
here
out, Grandpa.
because of the numerous factors, but especially because of
It's him.
Yo, what we these motherfuckers need to do is go and then the dribble in the basketball like
how you're going to
shit.
do it.
And
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Steve. You're a friend of mine, but on a great career. You have had an amazing career, and it continues. Just want to congratulate you. Very inspirational to a lot of people. I want to talk about the EU because you mentioned specifically that I've also had a lot of friends and know them well, like them a lot, but
He's
they're very
the
frustrated
CEO
because
and founder of Blackstone.
That's the CEO and founder of Blackstone?
Yep, Stephen A. Schwartzman.
Interesting.
Everything
That's
seems
who's
to
been
take
buying up
to
a
get
lot of real
approved.
estate in the U.S.
Environmental impact
Yeah.
statements for things that you shouldn't even have to do that, and many, many other ways that it takes. And I'm going to give you a quick little example. In the private life, my beautiful private life, before I had all these things happening, the world was a little different. I had a nice, simple life. You
don't know him. There we go.
It had to get approval.
Yeah, you just gotta
on
not take 'em
something
so
that would have
literally,
made it even
you know?
better. And I got the approval
Yeah.
from Ireland in a period of a week.
You got to enjoy the
And it was
show.
a very problem is you're going to have to get it from the EU, and we think that'll take 5 to 6 years.
Jesus.
And I said, you have to be kidding. And this was before politics. Been nice, and it would have been good for the project. And I sent the people to the EU to see if they could speed it up, and basically it was a 5 or 6 year wait just to get a simple approval that Ireland gave me in a period of literally not much more than a week. And I realized right then, that was the first time I really was involved with the EU, but I realized right then that's a problem. And I don't want to be criticized. He did apply, actually.
All right, you want to pause it real quick, and I'll give a AI overview of Blackstone's controversies.
All right.
Sound good? Disruption of industries. Blackstone leadership has warned that the president of Blackstone has highlighted the potential for AI to cause. Well, so John, yeah, it says chairman and CEO. What am I missing here? Why is Jonathan Gray? Anyway, maybe it's AI fucking up. A dimensional reductive strike, which could disrupt entire industries overnight. This perspective suggests that many sectors, particularly those reliant on rule-based operations like legal and accounting, may face exponential threats due to AI advancements. He has tried to disrupt these industries financially. Or he's paid to, apparently.
Makes sense.
Investment risks. Blackstone has raised alarms about the financial community's focus on AI valuation metrics, which may overlook the broader risk associated with AI's disruptive capabilities. Oh, my bad. This is AI, so it's probably retarded. Sorry.
Blame it on the AI.
Yeah, the need for investment strategies to creations of capital, reminiscent of the dot-com bubble. This concern reflects a cautious approach to AI, suggesting that, well, why does it tell me about AI? Oh, okay. It asked me, and it associated with AI. It was like, why is Blackstone bad to AI? And that's why it was giving me that shit. So they have predatory lending practices. Their role in the housing collapse, profiting from the crisis by purchasing distressed properties that significantly reduced prices, even bullied prices in some criticisms. They argue that this not only displaced residents, but also worsened the housing rent increases in properties it manages, further straining low-income families and contributing to the affordable housing crisis in areas like Los Angeles. Labor practices. So that's from StellaAdapter.com. was where he got that. Labor practices and ethical concerns, in addition to its finance, poor working conditions. These accusations highlight a broader concern regarding the company's prioritization of profit over well-being of workers. And that is stelladapter.com. Again, impact on communities. The cumulative effect of Blackstone's practice has raised serious ethical questions about its commitment to social responsibility. Now they're losing me. Advocates argue that firms' actions contribute to societal inequality. Real estate and labor have led to significant criticism and negative reputation, particularly regarding its impact on communities and ethical standards in business. So the reason that they're so widely hated is they're considered a black horse company, which means they prey on smaller industry. They buy out from under them. They actively attack competitors in an unethical way, where they'll waste $1 million or they'll waste $30 million to put another company out of business. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've been doing this for a long time. I believe Blackstone was originally a part of BlackRock. And then the other thing they did was they used government funds. I believe this was Blackstone. If it's the wrong company, forgive me, but they used government funds during the pandemic to buy up houses at over market value. That's part of what drove the cost of housing so high.
Yeah, there's another company that was like one tenth of or less of their size, and they spent all that money to raise the prices on these things, so they couldn't.
Of course, yeah.
So, kind of like what they accuse Mexico of doing all the time. Mexico, Walmart.
Same thing, right? Mexico, Walmart.
Yeah, you're gonna one or the other again.
Well, I wasn't done, but
oh, there's more? How much longer is this? 3 hours.
I don't think I did, but if I did, I pulled it very quickly. It was just something you could claiming that's the problem. From the standpoint of America, the EU treats us very, very unfairly, very badly. They have a large tax that we know about, and a VAT tax, and it's a very substantial one. They don't take essentially don't take our farm products, and they don't take our cars, yet they send cars to us by the millions. They put in terms of these are non-economic or non-monetary tariffs, and those are very bad, and they make it very difficult to bring products into Europe, and yet they expect to be selling, and they do sell their products in the United States. So we have, hundreds of billions of dollars of deficits with the EU, and nobody's happy with it, and we're going to do something about it, but nobody's happy with it. So I think they want to be able to compete better, and you can't compete when you can't go through the approval process fast. There's no reason why it can't go faster. So, I'm trying to be constructive because I love Europe. I love the countries of Europe, but the process is a very cumbersome one. And they do treat the United States of America very, very unfairly with the VAT taxes and all of the other taxes they impose. One other, just to finish up, I got a call from the
in the EU. Patrick Pouyanné, he's the chairman CEO of Total Energies. I guess you have a question ready, Patrick.
Energy is at the top of your agenda, and it's an honor for me to represent the energy industry tonight in this panel. Total Energies is indeed the fourth largest oil and gas. I will go to gas more. And our company is the largest #1 exporter LNG from a mammoth LNG projects in Texas, $20 billion. It's far from 200, but it's $20 billion. And we contribute with that to security of supply to Europe as we export this LNG to Europe. Some experts fear that U.S. domestic gas price, and they recommend a pause on these projects. I would ask you the following question. What are your views about such a pause on investments on LNG in the US? What would happen if you would observe, would you agree to guarantee security of supply of US LNG to Europe?
Well, in the last part, it can't get supplied because of war-type problems and other problems, so we would absolutely do that. LNG is very interesting because when I took office for the first term, one of the first things I looked at was there were two very massive plants in Louisiana, a state that has been very good to me, won it by many, many points. And I felt strongly indebted to it, actually. And they said there are two plants that have been under environmental consideration for more than 10 years. And they were costing, as you say, you know how expensive those plants are, but they were costing like 12 billion and I think 14 or 15 billion, but they couldn't get their permits. They were in review for years, many, many years, like a decade or more. And I said, so ridiculous. I know so much about that because in the construction industry, I had to go through it too, but I got good at it after a while. But I saw the projects, and you're talking about a total investment of 25 to $30 billion, and it looked like it was going to end. They couldn't get their permits, and I got them done in less than a week. It was done, completed. In fact, when they called them to announce that it was done, the countries, largely countries, Japan was involved and another country and some very big investors, they couldn't believe it. They actually couldn't believe it. And I said, just do yourself one favor. Don't pay any consultants, because the only one that got it done was me. I got it done because it was the right thing to do for the U.S. and for the world, but the consultants had nothing to do with it. You know, the consultants go in and they say, give us millions of dollars because Trump did it. Nobody called me about it. I just heard it was a problem for years. And I got it done because it was.
To another CEO that you know very well, Brian Moynihan, the CEO and chair of Bank of America.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, and congratulations, and obviously a eventful week for you and your family. If you remember, 5 years ago, you came here and we walked among 150 CEOs. Here you're not here, and yet this week was eventful from the orders that you mentioned earlier, literally a wave of orders coming out on immigration, on trade, and many other matters. And so, as a representative of the United States here, we got a lot of questions about what does all this mean and how a good bond market and bringing down prices. So how do you think about the impact of all these orders and how fast they come out and how you're going to balance it?
Down to 21%, the corporate tax. And it was actually, if you look at state and city, it was in many cases much higher than 40%. I got it down to 21%. And now we're going to bring it down from 21 to 15% if, there's a big if you make your product in the U.S.
I think he's crazy for wanting to better his own country.
Rich, powerful country by far, right? Not even a contest. So we're going to bring it down back to the one-year deduction where we deduct, we did that originally, and that was amazing what the impact that had, the one-year deduction, which built up over a period of time, and then it expires. But we're going to go back to that when we can survive with about a 45% tax increase, because that's what it would be. Yes. And so I think they're going to be. We've been working along with them pretty well.
I think that
I think it's very hard for a political group to say, let's charge people 45% more.
I'm not 100% sure,
but we're actually doing a reduction for business and small businesses where you're going to bring it down to 15%, which is really something. And by the way, speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank, and that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take in your banks to conservatives because what you're doing is wrong.
Oh, I should have hammered it harder.
Mr. President, I'll say that your friend Gianni said hello, told me to tell you hello, and we look forward to sponsoring the World Cup when it comes, both this summer for the club and next year. So thank you for getting that for the United States.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll now go to Anna Butin. She's the executive chairman of Banco Santander, one of the big European banks, and also in the U.S. So, Anna.
Mr. President, congratulations on a historic victory. I believe you don't know me as well as my fellow panelists, my friend Brian or my friend Jamie have. And those...
She's doing the Trump thing. That's funny.
I didn't tell me she was funny.
It's a regulation.
That's coming. That's coming.
That was cheeky.
We're a fully digital bank called Open Bank. We strongly believe banks have a pivotal role in the economy, and we can accelerate growth and help many from your focus on deregulation and reducing bureaucracy. So my question is, what are your priorities in this regard, and how
much about your bank? And you've done a fantastic job. Congratulations. We are going to move very quickly. We've moved. It's all taking effect. It's going to have a huge impact on the economy, a huge positive impact. Money was being wasted on crazy things. I mean, the Green New Deal was such a total disgrace. How that was perpetrated, and it was conceived of by people that were average. The environment. It was just a game. Remember, the world was going to end in 12 years. Remember that? Well, the 12 years has come and gone. It was going to end. It was going to all foam into earth. But you know, the time has come. These people, and they really scared the Democrats large. I can't say the Republicans. The Republicans maybe could have fought harder to stop it, but it's the most productive economy in the history of our country. We had the most productive economy until COVID came. We had the most productive in the history of our country by far, and to everybody else. So, and we think we really now, with what we have learned and all of the other things that we're going to be demanding respect from other nations. Canada, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. We're not going to have that anymore. We won't have a deficit. We won't have to tariff you, et cetera, et cetera. But Canada has been very tough to deal with over the years, and it's not fair that we should have a $200 billion or $250 billion deficit. We don't need them to make our cars, and they make a lot of them. We don't need their lumber because we have, just as an example, with Mexico, we're dealing with Mexico, I think, very well. And we're just, we just want to be treated fairly with other nations, because there's hardly a nation in the world, and I blame this on us, and I blame it on politicians that, for some reason, probably mostly it's stupidity, but you could also say other reasons, but very small debt when you compare it to the value of the assets that we have. But we don't want to do that. We want to just have debt. Things are going to happen for the world, and good things are going to happen for the people that are dealing with us.
All right, you said all that several times,
allies
Trump.
And beyond allies. One thing very important, I really would like to be able to meet with President Putin soon and get that war ended. And that's not from the standpoint of economy or anything else. It's from the standpoint of millions of lives are being wasted. Beautiful young people are being shot in the battlefield. You know, the bullet, very flat land, as I said, and the bullet goes, there's no hiding. And a bullet, the only thing going to stop the bullet is a human body. And you have to see, I've seen pictures of what's taken place. It's a carnage, and we really have to stop that war. That war is about, there's so many young people being killed in this war, and that's not including the people that have been killed as the cities are being, knocked down building by building. So we really should get that stopped. Likewise, in the Middle East, I think we've made a lot of progress in the Middle East, and I think that's gonna come along pretty well.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we know that the most consequential relationship in the world is between the U.S. and China. U.S. 28% of the global economy, China close to 20%. That's almost half of the global GDP. And we know that you called President Xi Jinping last Friday. We heard that you had a good discussion. How do you see the relationship between the U.S. and China in the next 4 years under your leadership?
He called me.
I think that we're going to have a very good relationship. All we want is fairness. We just want a level playing field. We don't want to take advantage. We've been having massive deficits with China. Biden allowed it to get out of hand. He's wanted to make it phenomenal. We have to make it a fair relationship. Right now, it's not a fair relationship. The deficit is massive, as it is with other countries, a lot of Asian countries, actually. But we have deficits that are very big, and we can't keep doing that. So we're not going to keep doing that. But I like President Xi very much. I've always liked him. We always had a very good relationship. It was very strained with COVID coming out of Wuhan. Obviously, that strained it. I'm sure it strained it with a lot of people, but that strained our relationship. But we always had a great relationship. I can help us stop the war with, in particular, Russia, Ukraine. They have a great deal of power over that situation. And we'll work with them. And I mentioned that with during our phone conversation with President Xi. And hopefully we could work together and get that stopped. We'd like to see denuclearization. In fact, with President Putin prior to an election result, which was frankly ridiculous, we were talking about denuclearization of our two countries, and China would have come along. China has a much smaller right now point over the next 4 or 5 years. And I will tell you that President Putin really liked the idea
he has very small
of
nukes.
Cutting way back on nuclear. And I think the rest of the world
Slightly bigger rocket, man.
And China would have come along too. China also liked it.
Our nukes are the most important part.
Because you don't want to hear it. It's too depressing. So we want to see if we can denuclearize, and I think that's very possible. And I can tell you that President Putin wanted to do it. He and I wanted to do it. We had a good conversation with China. They would have been involved.
We couldn't find a hotel room.
Carrie in Davos next year, will there be then
like
a peace
4 hours long or something?
with Ukraine and Russia by then?
Well, you're going to have to ask Russia. Ukraine is ready to make a deal. Just so you understand, this is a war that should have never started. If I were president, it would never have started. This is a war that should have never, ever been started. And it wasn't started during there was never even talk of all around, and you end up with what you by missiles hitting them and everything else. 3 blocks long, they're 20 stories high.
How long was that?
They're big, powerful. There were
of
many more people killed in Ukraine in the Ukraine war than anybody has any idea. But if you look now, so many of the people, and it's really thing to see. And when you see pictures of the fields that I see, nobody wants to see it. You'll never be the same.
It's not even part of this, apparently.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, on behalf of all the 3,000 participants.
So he went on in one of his speeches to talk about, and he took using force off the table. He did it a little bit in a tongue-in-cheek way, but he took using force off the table. And reissued the call for it, and then on top of that, he, at the end of the day, the White House posted that we had made a deal for Greenland. He made it clear that was a vast majority of our debt that we've spent in securing Europe for them. They gave away one of our most strategic bases recently. They just gave it away for no particularly good reason. But apparently that was able to bring us a deal. We haven't got details on the deal yet. Hopefully we'll have that for tomorrow's Friday show. But in some form or another, we have Greenland. And by that, we have control. Because we already have the ability... based on our deal with Denmark from World War II, we actually already have the ability to control how many military bases we have. We can add more military bases to Greenland as it is anytime we want to without having military bases. So hopefully we'll see. I mean, it's hard to speculate on what it could be. But he mentioned Iran there. Find the thing here. We just ordered strikes in Iran. We are apparently going to war with Iran, or at least striking them. I'm not sure. The White House claims that
we got the ships there. Hey, kick it over to my screen real quick while we're looking that up. Keep scrolling X.
Let's see.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a story here. I'm not sure where it went, so I'm just going to look one up.
Oh, I thought...
I'm not going to go through the whole story. I just want
to
figure out what the details are on it. U.S. foreign exchange threats.
What I heard was they passed those islands in the Indian Ocean, and they turned off their signal again or something. So
yeah, according to the headline that I saw, it said 2,400 dead in Iran, and that's from the protests. The Iranian regime killing protesters, and it said U.S.
Yeah, they're not giving the real numbers.
Yeah, it said U.S. orders strikes. And so that's what I was...
All right, let's hear what this liberal woman has to say.
Person, then go at home and speak.
Trans women are men, is the guy holding the sign.
And get out of
Woman drives up holding her phone.
You are in my neighborhood where I am raising my family, holding signs that are hateful to people here.
There's nothing hateful about it.
Then why do you have it? No one needs your hate. You're a disgusting...
And I like how she has the phone out. This is all for clout. Like, she can't wait to post that.
With hate signs that he's recording people.
She called 911
across from the fire department. Okay, and what does this sign say? It's a transgender sign, but he's recording people that are going.
They won't say what it says.
It's really super creepy.
Greater love has no man than this, and to lay down his life for a friend.
No.
And as the Lord did for us, you do for each other.
What do you make of all the people saying she's like faking it and stuff, and that she never loved them, and
how easy
this,
she is to talk to?
Like, this is all, I think, basically like Candace Owens is implying. But other people like Nick Fuentes have said explicitly.
It comes from
they
leftists
said,
too.
Huh?
It comes from leftists too. I've heard leftists talking about it.
Yeah, but like even like I knew the leftists were going to talk about it. That's kind of a given, you know. They don't ever. There's no bar they won't sink to. We know, but you know the fact that the conservatives are saying like almost like the conservative is like coming from a conspiracy theory route where they say like set up in his arrangement, like they got him a wife, and he would be, and she was a former, Miss Israel in Hasbara. Hasbara means explanation in Hebrew, but it's basically their word for propaganda.
Right.
It's like the same thing. Yeah, I did not let her husband's life's work go to waste, and suddenly she's, it was all part of an arrangement. Whoa, okay. Is it makeup or fraud? Or is makeup fraud?
To the information's out of date. It says that Trump ordered strikes on Iran within 24 hours, but there's no confirmation of that from anywhere useful or trustworthy-ish.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Strikes on Iran within 24 hours is pretty straight up.
See, this is the thing about U.S. aid. Used U.S. taxpayers to pay money to fund COVID-19 development.
Weapon systems that are very dangerous and very destabilizing.
Okay, man, I guess we got to listen to Tucker.
This country understand is that the Ukrainian military is selling about half of the arms they get from the United States into international black markets, and they're winding up in some cases with the drug cartels in Latin America. That's a fact. Okay, it's a fact, and you can buy them. And I spoke to something that would make commercial air travel impossible. For example,
to be fair, he knows a lot of
what
people,
are they doing with the pathogens in the vials? Does the Biden administration administration have
Seems
a
like one of
manifest?
those
Do they
things
know
he just
exactly
says
what's
a
in
lot.
those labs? And will they turn it over to the Trump administration so we can keep track of these things? And the answer is no, actually. The answer is no. I know this.
Wow.
So that's like the scariest
I
thing.
got to get a better. I got to start being able to get a Tucker Carlson
To destabilize the world more than anything that's happened in my lifetime.
You got to be able
What
to
the
do
hell?
the laugh.
That's why I'm saying this right now, because I hope this is widely disseminated, because I think it's like the scariest thing I've heard
Like
in a
that?
long, long time.
I don't know. Your
Yeah, I
mic
got
cut
that.
it off.
Huh?
Your mic cut it off.
I got to do it quieter.
That's closer.
Turn the regular butt plugs into butt plug furries, actually. And it's like, Tucker, what are you talking about?
Actually, they started adding asbestos to the recipe for no reason.
Yeah, asbestos to the butt plugs. the asbestos butt plug scandal.
Like, why would you do that, Alan? Why would you? What? Why?
And then it's like everyone that starts getting a rare disease in the anal cavity from asbestos, and it's all these rhino Republicans, you know, like the Christian and name only Republican. I guess you call them Kino. Oh, Matt Walsh. I know Matt Walsh posts a lot. I wonder, do you think that's like actually him, or is that his?
No, I'm sure they have.
Yeah, how do I stream? Like, cause I could just keep streaming.
We'll talk about it as soon as we go off air, and you can go back on if you can.
All right.
That we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us. So the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully.
Can you turn it up at all?
Are a little less.
You can't hear it?
And
barely.
And where the term actually.
I got it up all the way.
All right, here, I'll turn you up. Just don't talk for a second.
To where they may not have the compassion or the when they were. Melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul that we call it. We call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us. So the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully, are a little less. And where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear. They're acting out of low self-esteem. They're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight,
in order to survive.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages.
Melanated
They had
people.
to be barbaric.
Just say black.
Because they're in these Nordic mountains, in these rough torrential environments. So they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages.
I love it. Yeah. I'll never
If that
get
makes you
knocked
feel
out
better.
by a white boy.
Maybe, just maybe, the amount of melanin in your skin doesn't actually play a role in how violent you are.
Yeah,
I know that's
I
a
just
crazy
loved his
thought.
explanation. That was
No, I know. I'm mocking him. All right.
This was good.
I would never let a white boy beat me. I would never let a white boy beat me. I'll never let a white boy beat me.
Two possible opponents.
Oh, big right hand.
He's out. Oh, outrage. That's
Joe
crazy.
Smith,
Yeah, that's
who
crazy.
Dan Rayfield suggested as an opponent, has just knocked Bernard Hopkins out of the ring. Out of the ring.
He should have 20 seconds to get back in. If he can get back in 20 seconds, he's not knocked out. I don't think he's aware of that.
Does he get
And he's
20
being
because he was knocked out of the
assisted.
ring?
He's being assisted by a lot of people at ringside.
Oh, that was classic.
All right. Are you going to take us out with a prayer?
Yeah, yeah. Is my screen on? Or is it?
No, that screen isn't. Now you are.
Okay, so it was off the whole time. All right, let's do an Our Father today. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. All right. Where can they find you, Alan?
You can find me at First Alan 2 on X.
Yep. And like you said, you might be going back live here in a little bit. I'm not sure entirely.
Yeah.
We'll have to discuss it after we get off the air here, whether that'll be this channel. Worst case, it might be yours.
Yeah.
On
I'll
X.
just go on X and stream.
Yeah, and I'll
look at stuff.
We'll share that on the JBU page too, so that you can find it if he's not able to stream through the JBU stuff. All right, and you can find this show JBU. I always go that way. Anchor.fm/JBU, or JBU show on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, and X, at JBU_show. And yeah, with that, my name is Chris.
I'm out.
Bye. Wait, I can want to be a little bit louder.
Yeah.
This is only between us.
This is just between us.
This is just between us.
Perfect. All right.